It's the age-old question. Why is there something rather than nothing? By nothing, I mean the exact opposite of something. No space, no time, no matter, no energy, no anything. Absolutely nothing is the absence of existence. So by definition, it's the one thing that can't exist. There can never have been nothing. If ever you hear someone say the universe may have come from nothing, that's not true. It's impossible for there to have been nothing, and therefore something can't have come from it. So the opposite must be true. There must always have been something. One of the modern cosmological theories of the origin of the universe is called ex nihilo, which means literally out of nothing. Philosophers and theologians have talked about creation ex nihilo for ages, but now scientists have got in on the act and begun to speculate about what came before the Big Bang, the incredibly hot, dense state from which our universe emerged about 13.8 billion years ago. Scientists have mapped out a credible sequence of events going right back to what's called the Planck Era, when the universe was only 10 to the minus 43 of a second, or 1/10,000,000 trillionth of a second old. The question is, what came before that? What started it all off? One answer that you'll hear is that the universe began as a quantum fluctuation. But that's not nothing. There has to be something to begin with that can fluctuate, that can change from one state to another. If we agree that there can never have been nothing, what was the something that came before the earliest moments of our universe? One possibility is that there's a kind of endless ocean of something, energy, formless space and time, an unstable vacuum, out of which new universes, including ours, are always forming, like bubbles in a foam. Of course, we've then just pushed the question further back, because where did this nascent ocean that's constantly spawning new universes come from? Another possibility is that our universe goes through repeated cycles of expansion and collapse, each big bang followed eventually by a big crunch, after which there's another big bang, and so on forever. Again, this just kicks the can further back down the road and sidesteps the bigger question of where such an oscillating universe, if that's what it is, came from in the first place. Yet another, even stranger possibility is that our universe somehow creates itself. In other words, it eventually evolves to the stage where it brings about its own existence. This isn't quite as crazy as it sounds. In fact, back in 1993, I wrote a book called Equations of Eternity, which develops the idea that as intelligence and consciousness spreads throughout the universe, it becomes the very means by which the universe is actualized. This is simply a radical extension of the concept in quantum mechanics, in which observers play a key role in determining what's real. Far-fetched? Well, yes, of course it is. Any attempted explanation of where the universe ultimately came from is going to be far-fetched, whether we argue that something has always existed and is therefore infinitely old, or we look to a god to bring it all about, or we suggest that somehow we ourselves are involved, that as consciousness develops and expands, it becomes the mechanism required to bring itself about. What was the first cause that led to the effect, the whole universe, that we now see around us? What's the solution to this ultimate chicken and egg problem? The only thing we can be sure of is that nothing can't exist. There's always been something. And that something now includes us, inquisitive little beings who look around and wonder where they've come from.